Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. Today we are going over my first thoughts and impressions of Final Fantasy VII. I was originally going to do a full playthrough of this game, but then I found that it's like 100 hours to complete it. And anyway, I like to take my time during my playthroughs of these games, so I don't mind just playing little sections here and then just doing like a review of them afterwards, which is what we're gonna do. There's gonna be a first video of I don't know how many parts it's gonna be, but I'm just gonna go ahead and play through the game and say what I think about like each section. It's probably not gonna be each chapter because I'm 10 hours into the game right now, and I'm only on chapter 2. I haven't even left the first starting area. But yeah, anyway, let's get into it. So, the game starts off with a cutscene. Shows you all the last events from the previous game. Um, it shows the fight with Sephiroth and all the huge fucking tornadoes that were going around the Sector 7. So if you don't remember the game, it's pretty good. That gives you a little recap of everything that happened. Alright, so the game starts off with the aftermath of all the tornadoes that went through the fucking sectors. One pretty interesting thing is we start off playing as Zack, which is still really confusing. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. I think we're in like a alternate timeline because you see all the main characters are passed out like after the battle, which we know that didn't happen. They all went forward into calm afterwards. So I'm guessing right now that this is an alternate timeline, and after all the events with the Sephiroth fight, we created a fucking, I don't know, a parallel dimension or something. I mean, at least that's my guess, I have no idea. After this first little segment, this is the only time you get to play as Zack so far. So who knows, maybe you get to play with him later and you find out, but I guess we'll see. So anyway, Zack sees Aerith on the screens and he decides to go save her. He's walking by when one of the fucking helicopters goes down. I'm not sure why it went down. I think it just crashed randomly for some reason. Oh no, I remember, yeah. Red 9. He's right there, I think. He actually woke up because he was knocked out and he made him crash, so Aerith just ended up on the fucking floor right there, and Red 9 is just fucked up in the front seat of the helicopter. But anyway, Zack goes in there, starts beating everybody up. At this point, I was like, kind of disappointed in the combat. I was like, did they take off the fucking like pressing X to stop time and use your abilities and your spells? And I was like, damn, they changed up the combat quite a bit, but nah, it was just this first area that was like that, so that's good. So he finally manages to kill everybody, and then he gets to Aerith and she's not fucking moving. I think she got pretty fucked up from the crash, so he just carries her off somewhere, leaves Red 9 behind, which is like, what the fuck? You might as well take him too. Like, you can carry that big ass sword. I know you can carry a Red 9 and Aerith. I just literally saw you throw a fucking heavy ass stone to a helicopter. But anyway, he takes her off. There's a bunch of soldiers everywhere, and then I think she just straight up fucking dies in his arms. I'm pretty sure she dies in this timeline, which is it's pretty crazy, you know. Which is why I'm really interested to see more of this. I really hope that they show more. Alright, so that finally ends the little Zack timeline, and we go back to the main timeline with the crew heading to Calm. We start off with, I think it's Barrett asking Cloud about Sephiroth, and then he just starts telling them this whole story about how he went on a mission with him. I guess I should mention that I have played the original Final Fantasy VII, so I do know mostly what the story is going to be about. I expect them to change a lot of things, The game's called Rebirth, and a lot of people were theorizing that it's going to be very different. Well, not very different, but some major changes are going to be present. Like, it's not going to be all the same stuff from the original Final Fantasy VII, that would be pretty boring. So I'm excited to see what they're going to change. Alright, so right off the bat, we run into these fucking monsters, and Sephiroth just one-shots one fucking dragon like it's nothing. I mean, it's to be expected, it's fucking Sephiroth. But one thing I didn't expect is that you get to actually play as him, so that was really cool. Um, yeah, Cloud just gets his shit pushed in. All he can do is really watch at this point. Alright, so all that goes down. Sephiroth takes care of those monsters pretty quickly. They get to the village calm, and Sephiroth starts talking about how his mother's name was Genova, but he never really met her. At this point, he hasn't really gone insane yet. He doesn't really know what's going on. But as you'll see here, after this mission, he's not going to be the same. You know, he's going to find out some pretty shady shit that happened to him and how the fucking government used him. It's also here that Cloud starts to tell his own story about how he remembers things, and you can see that his story and Tifa's is not really adding up, you know. Um, he's just, I don't know, like he remembers that he went back to the village as this soldier rank 1 and everybody remembered him. He even remembers going to his mother's house. You also get to find Tifa's master around here, which was pretty cool. He's a weird guy though. It's also during this time that you can walk around town and see the people of the village. You can go into Tifa's house, funny enough. You can even go into her fucking bedroom. And if you're a fucking weirdo, you can go into her closet. Which was pretty fucking funny because she gets mad and so does Aerith. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, that shit makes no sense, but it's a funny little thing that they added. So they also added the options that you can choose from. You could choose to go into your mom's house, or you could choose not to. I don't know if it's like an illusion, like, because some games you have like the illusion of choice, but if you choose not to, they still make you go in anyways. I don't know if it's like that, because I just chose to go in. But yeah, it's pretty cool to go around town, see the kids playing, the fucking people exercising. It's pretty cool. They make the towns in this game feel very lively, as you'll see later on with the town of Calm, which is, honestly, it's a really cool place. I really liked walking around that town and just lost myself just looking at the views and the different stores and all the different things that the people were doing in that town. It's really cool. It's really cool to see that. Yeah, anyway, the mission starts. You get a little bit of an intro with the Final Fantasy fucking title on the screen. It was really cool, you know. At first, I wasn't really impressed with the graphics of the game. I think they look pretty much the same as the old one, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, the previous game was really nice. It looked really good, but I was expecting a little bit more improvement. But after seeing all the shit that they've added and the open world later on, like, I wasn't expecting it to be open world, but that was really cool to see. So I guess we can give them a pass for that. Things just staying the same. I mean, graphics wise, you know, as far as the gameplay has improved, I see no problem with that. So, but anyway, you get into the mission, and this is where you start being able to use all your moves and press the X for the commands menu. You make your way up through the mountain with Tifa and Sephiroth. She's working as your guide during this point. And then you get up to the reactor, and this is where things get pretty interesting. If you haven't played this before, Sephiroth goes in there. He finds some experiments that Hojo has been working on, and then he sees some interesting letters on a door that he recognizes. It says Genova. So he's like, wait a minute, I think my mother's name is Genova. So he pretty much loses it a little bit at this point. But yeah, Sephiroth starts going crazy. He starts breaking all the incubators, kills all these fucking abominations that were being created in these pods, and he pretty much realizes that Hojo had been experimenting and that he was probably made the same way, you know. So yeah, he loses it. He goes crazy. He locks himself in this fucking library where they had all the research, and he just starts reading everything that he can get his hands on, just trying to find out why and how all of this happened. And it is also at this time that he turns into the Sephiroth that we pretty much all know, He just becomes pretty much evil, you know. I mean, I guess you can't really say he's evil. I mean, if something like that happened to you, you probably do the same thing as Sephiroth. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows, you know. But he found out everything. Like, they found Genova at this fucking excavation that they were doing, and then they created him using her DNA. So he's pretty much an ancient. And then from then on, he just pretty much believes that the earth is his and it's his God-given right because he's an ancient. And he just goes insane. He says fuck it, closes the book, and just burns the whole village to the ground, kills everybody. Well, not everybody, but mostly everybody. Pretty sure Cloud's mom died as well during this. So yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Alright, so immediately after this, Sephiroth just leaves while everybody's just burning to death, which is fucking insane. But anyway, he heads to Mount Nibble, and Cloud follows him there, surprisingly, because earlier he couldn't even fucking walk at all, so I don't know how the fuck he climbed the whole mountain. But he's not the only one there. Tifa and her dad were there as well, trying to stop Sephiroth, but yeah, that did not go well. Tifa's dad got fucked up, and you can see her crying on the floor. And this is the scene that we saw in the previous game, when Cloud first saw Tifa at the bar. We got a little flashback of this moment, which was back then I hadn't played the original yet, so just seeing Tifa in a fucking cowgirl costume was very confusing. I was like, what the fuck? When did this happen, you know? But yeah, now if that shit was confusing for you as well, it all makes sense now. But anyway, yeah, her dad's dead. She's there crying. Cloud sees this. He's looking at Tifa. She goes to pick up the sword, and then she goes in there and tries to fight Sephiroth. And yeah, that goes pretty much as expected. Sephiroth pretty much fucks her up too. Weird thing is, Tifa doesn't remember much after this, or at least she says that she doesn't. Who really knows, you know? But yeah, Sephiroth slashes her, then he goes inside the Genova doors, and he takes Genova out of the incubator that they had her in. And just as he's about to leave with her, Cloud goes in there and tries to fight Sephiroth, but then we don't really get to see the fight because Cloud isn't really sure he remembers everything. But yeah, that's pretty much how the flashback ends. We now go back to the present day at Calm, and yeah, they have a lot of questions for Cloud. They want to know who the hell Genova is. Tifa seems like she doesn't really believe everything that Cloud is saying, and we'll get to see why in a little bit. But yeah, everybody just decides to go to bed because they're tired from the travel. And fucking Red 9 takes Bear to bed, so he's forced to sleep on the couch, which is pretty funny. And then we go to the girls' room, and this is where Tifa is like talking to Aerith about like not believing Cloud because apparently, as far as she knows, Cloud was never there during that whole Nibelheim incident, which is a pretty big twist if you haven't played the original. So I'm not going to spoil it for you right now. I am going to be doing some slight spoilers throughout these little video series that I'm doing for this game, but I'm going to try to stay away from the pretty like major spoilers, you know. But yeah, we'll get to find out about that later. And then another interesting thing is that Tifa asks Aerith, she's like, wouldn't you know a little something about this? And we pretty much get confirmation that Aerith has been knowing what's gonna happen this whole time. At least she knew what was gonna happen in the previous game. Like, she had a lot of knowledge about that up to a certain point. Now she doesn't really have that power anymore, so she's as much in the dark as the rest of the crew now. Alright, so at some point during the night, Tifa decides to go and talk to Cloud about all these doubts that she's having. And her and Cloud pretty much don't agree with what happened because I mean, honestly, that's what Cloud remembers, and that's what Tifa remembers. So there's not really a say in who's right at this moment in time. But yeah, after that, they decide to go to bed. They're still pretty upset at each other. But then you wake up the next morning and you can walk around the hotel. You can even talk to I think it's the owner of the hotel. He's pretty chill, pretty helpful. And then from here on, you get to see like how the game is going to be laid out as far as side quests come into play. You can do all the side quests, or you can skip straight to the main mission. So they also introduce a new game, new mini game. It's called the Queen's Blood. At first, I wasn't a big fan of it. I was like, who the fuck wants to play a card game? But now I enjoy it a lot. So I want to like collect all the fucking cards. Every vendor that I go to, every machine I get to that has cards, I buy them. Sometimes more than I should. I fucking waste all my money on cards instead of the fucking items that I actually need to beat the game. But I guess that's a good thing, you know? So after that, they pretty much let you go around the town and do everything you want to do. We also get introduced to the new system that they have for the party. You can go into each one of your characters' inventories, change their weapons, their bracers, their little accessories. There's also a new screen for like leveling up all their abilities, and it's really cool how they like made all of them be able to interact with each other during battles. I think that's really cool. They each have like a specific person that they can do like combine attacks with. There's different summoning materials, a lot of different summoning materials actually, which is good to see because we were pretty limited in the summoning materials in the first game. So it's good to see that they pretty much said you can have all these fucking summonings whenever and wherever you want them, you know? So that's always good to see. So anyway, we get to one of my favorite parts of the game so far, and it's the towns in this game. So far, I've only seen Calm. It's like the first major town that I've seen, but there's a lot of things here. There's people dancing. There's this dude that's waiting for his date, and he's like fucking sad and almost crying because he got there a date earlier than he was supposed to. It's like, who the fuck does that? He pretty much has nobody to blame for himself than himself for that. But yeah, you can walk around and everybody has something to say. So that's what I mean when I say that the city feels really lively. You know, it doesn't feel bland and boring like other cities. Everybody has some kind of thing that they have to say. Yeah, I really enjoyed just walking around, hearing the people talk about random shit. Some people even talked about things from the last game or characters from different areas of the game. So you can also go and have different matches with these people with Queen's Blood. Like this little weird one that she's just waiting in this box fort. And she gets mad when you go in there. There's also this little girl with this fucking puppet that's really fucking weird. Like she talks with a deep ass voice with the puppet, and then she's just like this super shy little girl whenever you talk to her. It's pretty funny, but yeah, very interesting little village or town, whatever you want to call it.
Alright, how's about we give these two-bit chumps a whooping?
I also wanted to take a little bit and mention how beautiful some of the scenery is in this game. Like I love just walking around and seeing the mountains and the sunset. It's just a beautiful game, honestly. Like at first, like I said, not seeing a graphical update pretty much was kind of disappointing. But now that we got to this point in the game, there is a little bit of an update. It looks a bit better, you know, at least for a PS5 game. It looks pretty good. But anyway, after all that, after you get finished with all the side missions and everything, then you can do the main mission with Aerith, where you meet with her, you go to the top of the clock tower, and yeah, it's a pretty nice little moment. I've always enjoyed these missions where you can bond with the team, and there's a lot of that here. So anyway, Aerith and Cloud start talking about how Tifa and Cloud had an argument last night, but we don't really get to get too deep into the conversation because fucking Shinra shows up with a bunch of helicopters, starts fucking raiding the whole town looking for us. But lucky for us, the dude at the hotel, he finds us and guides us through the city and distracts all the guards, and we make it back to the hotel. Once we get there, he tells us that we have to go underground to escape, and we ask him like what his motives are. He says he's not working for Avalanche, but he just wants to get back at Shinra for something that they did to the town a while back. We'll get to see more of him later on. He's actually surprisingly he fits more into the story than I thought he would. I thought he was just gonna be like some random dude that helped you out during this mission, but no, he has a little bit of a story later on. But anyway, we get to the underground section and we go through this little underground tunnel and we make it out to the open world. And it was here when I was like, wow, like I was shocked. Like I was not expecting this shit to be open world. So when I got out there and I saw that you could just go anywhere you wanted, I was like, god damn, that's so cool. Like I just thought it was gonna be like the previous game, like pretty linear missions. You couldn't really go too far, but I like to see the change. You can definitely see why this took as long as it did. They definitely put a lot of work into it. Like I said, I'm only 10 hours into the game, not even past chapter 2, because of how much content there is, like all the missions you can do before you move forward. I've been doing pretty much all the missions that you can do before going to the main one. So, but yeah, that pretty much sums it up for the whole introduction of the game. As far as everything, I really enjoyed it overall. It's pretty engaging. All the new mechanics were introduced. The new minigame was introduced. We got out into the open world, so that opens up a lot more possibilities. There's going to be a lot of different playthroughs of this. No playthroughs probably going to be the same. Everybody's going to be off doing their own little thing. There's different choices you can make with the different characters that will make them like you or dislike you. Honestly, it's great. I'm really enjoying it, and I really look forward to seeing how it's gonna all turn out, you know. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little format. It's a bit different from the playthrough and let's play I usually do, but I thought it would be better to do it like this, especially for a game that's so long and so open and vast. That way I can just take my time with it, because that's the main thing that I want to do with this, is just take my time and just enjoy the different locations, the different missions, without having to worry about being entertaining the whole time, you know, and just come back to you guys and talk about it, about my thoughts and how I feel about what's going on in the story at that time. But anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and peace out. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you enjoyed. It really will help out and make me more motivated to do more videos like this. Lets me know that you guys enjoy it. But yeah, thank you.